Hello, first-time listeners. I'm just going to preface this podcast because this is going to be a little bit different from what we normally do. But this podcast has two other people on it other than Jen and Danny. This is Kaylie and Mel. If you watch the live streams of our podcast at all, you've probably seen them every once in a while. Sometimes they stop in for a podcast or they're just kind of sitting in the background chiming in for some stuff. But Kaylie is a first-time reader. She's never read the series before. She's seen the movies a really, really long time ago, but doesn't really remember too much of it, as she'll kind of explain. And then Mel has read the books once, so she's a second-time reader. And this whole podcast is just kind of an interview with Mel and Kaylie, kind of just asking them what their impressions are of characters, how they are liking the series so far. A lot of it is Kaylie kind of just talking about some of the stuff that she's interested in as a first-time reader, some of her theories going forward in the whole series. So it's like just another first-time reader's experience, which we're all about. That's kind of that's literally the name of this podcast. So that's what we're trying to do. Recapture first-time reading experiences. So all of us who have read the series lots can vicariously live through a first-time read again. But as always, go check out our subreddit, r/first-time-readers. Email us at firsttimereaders@gmail.com if you want any merch or anything like that. We are going to start selling some more merch. We're getting very, very close to it. We've kind of figured some stuff out. I'm just working with some designers right now, just trying to figure out some good designs. We might have some Hufflepuff or have some Hogwarts houses, all their the sweatshirts of Hogwarts houses, just some different designs for that. We might do the Ilvermorny houses too, because there's not a ton of Ilvermorny content out there. And I'm an Ilvermorny fan over here. So we're going to start doing that. So keep updated for that on our website, which is firsttimereaders.com. And then if you want to go support us on Patreon, I am very, very soon going to start doing like director's commentary on each of the episodes. So I'm going to re-listen to the entire podcast and kind of just give my unfiltered thoughts on what Jen, Danny, and Kristen are saying for the whole thing. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to roll that out hopefully very soon, sometime this week, I'm thinking. I just got to get some time to re-listen to the first few episodes and then make some comments. So we're doing that. Go support us on Patreon. There's going to be some extra content there if you're really liking the podcast. Keep giving us ratings and reviews. You guys are the absolute best. We really want to thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for your support. We're going to take a little bit of a breather in between this and for the next book. We're going to take a few weeks off just before we hit Half-Blood Prince, and then we're going to hit Half-Blood Prince running. We are all very excited to get into that book. So thanks for listening and enjoy this little side interview, this side quest for talking with Kaylie and Mel about Harry Potter. I don't know where we left off, but as you can tell, we have two new people on the pod. And I'm just gonna let them introduce themselves, and we're just gonna talk about Harry Potter, as we always do on this podcast. So introduce yourselves. You've probably seen them on the podcast sometimes, if you've been watching the live streams, as they've been on a few times. But introduce yourselves and just introduce yourselves.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Should we do like a special question?
I don't know. I
don't know. You're the one always coming up with
I know.
that I hate.
They're great. Come on. All right.
They're great, but whatever.
Just introduce yourselves.
I'm Kaylie, and I'm a first-time reader.
I'm Mel, and I am a second-time reader, but I haven't touched the books in 10 years.
Yes. One was, okay, and I'm going to ask you guys a bunch of questions. Give me your origin stories. First of all, Kaylie, why have you never read Harry Potter before? And have you seen the movies?
Okay. Yeah. So I did see the movies growing up. My sister really liked them, and one of my best friends growing up liked them. But to be honest, rewatching them now, the only one I remembered is the first one.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's just because like I saw them so long ago or they just didn't stick. I don't know.
So you don't know anything about what's going to happen in the end?
I mean, I remember kind of watching the last movie, but I don't remember really what happened. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I could guess maybe, but I don't know. It's been too long. But the reason I don't think I read the books was, I don't know. I wasn't a reader in like high school, I guess, when they came out. And my friends weren't really reading them either. So I was just kind of like, I don't know, no interest. But then when...
Was it like a cultural phenomenon when you were...
So see, growing up, like it was kind of a little taboo, right? Because it was like witchcraft, wizardry, or whatever. Like some people didn't like that. So didn't talk about it a lot. My parents thankfully didn't care that much, but just, I don't know, wasn't a thing. I think if everyone was reading it, I probably would have, but people were watching the movies. That's what I did. That's pretty much it.
And then Mel, when did you first read it?
My senior year of high school.
Ooh, that's when you started.
That's when I started.
Did you read all of them straight through?
Yes. So this is a fun story. So I'm a very goal-oriented person. And when I set myself up to do something, I will do it to completion. So I wanted to read all 7 books before the first part of the 7th movie came out so I could go and see it with my friends.
That's an ambitious
Wait, so
goal.
when did it come out? Like, what was that time?
It came out in like November or December. So I read all 7 books in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
After I got accepted into college, I went in for early decision and I was like, okay, what can I do where I won't flunk? So I basically did the baseline where I wouldn't kill my GPA. And then I just read Harry Potter for
That is commitment.
months.
It was
major
real
commitment.
Yeah.
So I remember a lot of the bigger things, but as we've been rereading the very minute details that I didn't catch the first time, I'm like, oh, wait, I think I remember how this connects here. And so it's been really fun revisiting it.
What was your experience like reading it in that short of a time span?
It was really interesting because I literally knew nothing. So any spoilers that I could have known, like nobody had talked about them. So I'm just experiencing reading it like literally for the first time with no context. So I was just blown away and I would go and talk about it with my friends and they would all be like, yep, just wait. Gets really intense from here. So
that's like
a really
universal thing with Harry Potter fans. And I mean, like, this is anything, but people always just say, just wait, just wait, just wait.
Yes.
It gets better. And it does.
I mean, they have been getting better. So.
I know. I mean, I keep saying this is where it gets really good, guys.
That's your favorite thing to say.
So what's the best book? The 7th book then?
There's a lot of debate for that. I mean, I have a theory. Not a lot of series end really well. Like if you're doing like a 7-book series, it's really hard to end that really well.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is one of those series that just ends. It's a great ending. And like, maybe it's not the most satisfying ending. I'm not going to just say it's like a satisfying ending or a really sad ending or anything like that. But the ending for this book is so good. But then people revisit all the books and they love certain books for different reasons. And every single book has a different flavor to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably attest to this too. Like, which is your favorite book out of the 7?
it's a tie between Prisoner of Azkaban and Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah. And if you ask a Harry Potter fan, they're all going to say something different because the movies are so different from the books too. So you can't really even factor the movies into it. But every time I reread the series, I like a different book for a different reason.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's like this book will become my favorite for that section of time.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it's just a...
Did she know going into it that she was going to do 7 books?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's oh man, I can't spoil anything. It's so hard to just hold my tongue for some of this stuff. But yeah, she knew exactly where she was going. Okay. She obviously filled in some of the detail.
Of course, yeah. I'm just impressed she came up with this whole world. Like it blows my mind.
Yeah. And
it's insane.
She is, and we've talked about this before with the other pod people, but she's not a great world builder. She's a good world builder. She's like building it out, but she's just such a good storyteller. She just knows how to captivate
which I
you.
love. Yeah,
exactly. So out when you're reading the series so far, in this point where you are you enjoying it? Is it one of your favorite series? Is it just like an enjoyable
it's awesome.
read?
I love it. Yeah. I think obviously doing it with you guys too is making it even more fun, but it's been super cool. I'm also doing the audiobook, so I love like listening to it, hearing all the voices with Jim Dale. So he's really good.
Are you mad that I'm slowing your guys' reading? Do you wish you could just keep going?
I mean, part of me kind of just wants to know what happens, but I'm also like, I'm just enjoying the experience, so I'm cool with it.
Which one out of the 5 that we read so far has been your favorite book? I was trying to think about this. They've all been good. Okay.
But I think Goblet of Fire actually might be my favorite so far.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I just liked, I guess, like how far got into the story and kind of how it was built and just like the games, and it was just interesting. And this last book was good, but I think Umbridge kind of ruined it a lot. Yeah. She was just so annoying. And I also didn't like that Dumbledore wasn't really in it much.
Yeah.
I was kind of wanting him to be in it more.
But at the end, you understand.
No, I do.
Why.
I do.
But
I do understand. But I kind of wish like he did explain more to Harry so he wasn't so like in the dark and like felt like abandoned by his only like friend at Hogwarts. I don't know. Yes, I think, I don't know. It's hard to really pick an order, but.
I mean, do you trust Dumbledore?
I like him. It's hard because like I feel like we've talked about this, the movies get it so wrong from what you see in the books. Like he's just this calm, cool, collected leader that everyone respects and very powerful wizard. So I like him, but I guess I just wanted more in this book, and I don't know. Guess we'll see where it goes from
Do you
here,
actually
but-
trust him? Like,
I think so.
We're going to go over like character summaries in a bit, but because that was a big discussion for the other group. We were talking about if we trust him or not after what happened in the 5th book.
I mean, I appreciate that he like took the time to explain to him and kind of owned up to his mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I want to say that I trust him, but I don't know. I guess it's a good question. I want to believe that he's a good character, so that he's trustworthy.
Mel, going back to you, why is the 3rd and the 6th book your 2 favorites?
3rd book for me is probably my favorite because Sirius is my favorite character. And I think that I like that it starts to get darker there.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think it also really tests the trio in terms of logistics and how they'll get like Sirius out and all of that. The 6th book, I think, just really sets the stage and gets very dark. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I would think it's probably the one that like surprised me the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
There's something that happens in the book that I was just like, this didn't just happen. And I actually went back and reread because I'm like, I can't believe what I just even read.
Yeah.
So this is crazy.
And that's that
And
book.
I think you know the part that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many in that book too. Like, 'cause there's so many parts that you could be talking about.
Oh, that's fair.
But that's the thing. Like, there's huge moments in it. There's small moments, but every single page kind of surprises you with it. So the next book is just, it's a lot of people's favorite because it's just so.
So everyone's likes the 6th
So
the best.
I mean, it's literally divided in the Harry. Like, I could throw a poll out on subreddit,
Okay.
and it would be pretty evenly divided. Like, even right now, people are saying the 7th is the favorite. One person said the 5th. Some person said it's like picking your favorite child.
That's also a fair statement.
And yes, like Toodles even said Sorcerer's Stone. And the first one does
they're
hold
all
a place
good,
in my heart
so-
too. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the introduction to the world.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes you back to like this magical place. Wes.
I said one is very nostalgic. I feel like because it's
Yeah.
like the first, but
It does like bring you back into that. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll just read one on its own just to like transport you back into that world. So it's kind of fun. It's an exceptional book. It's so good.
but all of them have been great. Like they're all like these fun twists that you don't expect, and it just keeps you on your toes. But,
Has 5 been your least favorite?
I don't know if it's my least favorite. I think they keep getting better. I think it's just I liked 4 slightly more than
Yeah.
5.
5 gives you information, but again, you're just
Yeah,
dealing
with information is
Umbridge.
good, but
Yeah.
Umbridge is so annoying. There's cool like character development. Like it's cool to see like Neville progresses and
Yeah.
Ginny and like different characters. I mean, all of them do progress, but
I love
I don't know. I think Umbridge kind of ruined. I mean, again, I still love the story, but she
Do you
kind
feel
of
like
made it
Umbridge is
annoying.
going to be in the books at all anymore?
I really hope not, but I don't know. Because it's kind of like we don't really know what happened, right? She just kind of went off. Okay. So I'm kind of hoping she just stays that way, but
She just walks
We'll
out of the
see.
school and they all terrorize her.
yeah,
That's
hoping
about
she wouldn't want to show face again, but we'll see.
All right, give me who you think your favorite character is.
See, that's tough because I'm like, I haven't seen read all the stories. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
for
know how
sure.
they're going to progress.
Yeah, but up until this point. And then you answer that too. Up until this point. You can't include the 6th and 7th books. Up until this point, who is your favorite character? And then why? You can give like a top 3 list. We'll do like top 3.
Okay, there's some that I like and there's some that I feel like I relate to. So I feel like I don't know. I really like Lupin for some reason. I think he was like just been one of
Yeah.
the best professors. And when he came back, I was like, yes,
Yes.
Lupin's back. I don't know how much role he'll play in the like last 2 chapters, but I like him a lot. Hermione's just great. She's smart. She keeps the boys like in line. I feel like I kind of relate to Neville most, like when in the sense that like I think he just needed someone to like believe in him and encourage him. And you really see in this book how like Harry coaching him and helping him, like how much he's developed, and just sticking up for his friends. So I kind of like him. I'm curious to see what'll happen with him in the next 2 books.
That's a good list. And so Lupin, Neville, and Hermione.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, they're all good characters their own
Yeah.
way, but I think if I had to pick as of now, I'll say that.
That's a good list. I like that. Mel, what about you?
Sirius is probably my favorite character. And then I also really like Snape. I know that that's controversial. I fully recognize
That is
it's controversial. I fully recognize it.
The moodiness.
But it's the moodiness, and I like that you don't really know where he's at.
Yeah.
What side is he on? And
Yeah.
I like to try and figure things out. Like, I really like puzzles, and he
Yeah.
to me is like very much.
He is a puzzle.
He is a puzzle in and of itself.
Why do you like Sirius so much? I'm curious.
I think because just the way that like he impacts Harry, it's almost like he brought like a whole new life to him. Like he finally has like family and love. And I think that Sirius tries to guide him, but also doesn't try to tell him too much. I think he has a very good like guardianship level to him, but he's also so knowledgeable of the world that he can be such a good guidepost for him.
Yeah, I liked him too, but I kind of maybe was a little bit annoyed at him in this book because I think we talked about like he kind of got like jealous or like petty. I don't know. I wish he was more of a father figure to Harry in this book.
In the books, he was a bit childish. In the movies, he was a bit more of a father figure. But
Yeah. So I was gonna say the movies like make him portray him in a better light, but if you're reading the books, it's kind of like he's kind of petty or like jealous. I don't know. I just wish he was more of that father figure to Harry in the books. That's what he needed.
Yeah.
And so when he died, obviously very sad, and I felt terrible for Harry, but it was like not as sad as if he was the actual father figure. I feel like he should have been.
One of the people that like that Sirius died too. Danny and
No,
Jen.
I don't like that he died. Actually, I'm sad that he
Yeah,
died because
I'm
for
just
Harry's
messing.
sake, like it's like devastating. But at the same time, I think it wasn't as sad because, and it's also like, what would he have done? Like he was kind of trapped in a house. Like I feel like something had to like happen. So might as well
also fair.
kind of be this way. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do feel for Harry because it's like, who does he really have?
I know. Yeah.
So that's what makes it hard.
And that's
it's like
devastating
everyone
at
has
the end of
left
this
him.
book,
It's like
yeah.
every parent figure, like his actual parents, Sirius. So it's hard.
He has like no family left, which is
I
really
know.
sad. Why do you, Kaylee, trust? What do you think about Snape? Do you trust him or not?
It's like back and forth. Like I want to believe that he also is good, even though he's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I think too, because Dumbledore trusts him. Like I respect that, like that he trusts him. So like that means something to me.
And that's
but
the big question you ask too. Do you trust Dumbledore? If you trust Dumbledore, then you kind of trust Snape a little bit. But
as of now, yes.
Yeah.
Until something else happens that convinces me otherwise, I want to believe that Dumbledore's good.
yeah.
So because of that, I trust Snape. And he, even in this last book, like he did things for her. I mean, he helped Harry even when he didn't really want to. Like he did what he was supposed to do. So I don't know.
And then
It's kind of on the fence, but I want to believe he's okay.
yeah. Mel, and up until this point, was the
Yes.
Sirius death the saddest moment for you in the books? Because he's your favorite character. So was that?
Yeah. For me, that was probably the saddest moment up to this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you say up to this point, I'm like, what else is going to happen?
Yeah, I have to say up to this point.
Okay.
So that's another one of my questions for you, Kaylee. What do you think is going to happen? Let's talk about specifically in the next book.
Oh gosh.
Do you know what it's called?
Is this Half-Blood
Half-Blood Prince. Yeah. What is this
I don't
Half-Blood
know.
Prince?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I feel like obviously someone's gonna die, which is sad.
Okay. Pause. Who's your? Give me a top 3 list of who you think is going to die.
I don't think it's gonna be any of the 3. I think it'll be someone close to them though. Like I'm wondering if it's one of the Weasleys or. I don't want it to happen, but I'm just trying to think. It's like she always tries to get you with someone that's like you're attached to or you don't want to die. I don't know. Part of me wonders if Dumbledore at some point is gonna die and sacrifice himself. I don't know. I don't think obviously Voldemort or Harry, they're not gonna die. They have to go through to the 7th book.
So you think some of the Untouchables are the trio? You don't
Yeah.
you don't think the trio is going to die? You don't think Voldemort's going to die yet?
No.
Is there anybody else that's untouchable?
I I don't really think so, unfortunately. I don't know. With knowing her, it's like anything's possible.
Anybody
so I feel
could
like
die.
outside of them, because they're just like so core to the story. I mean, I could be wrong, we'll see. It kind of could be anyone, which is crazy. I don't know.
What has again, it's hard to like just make guesses on this, but when you read Half-Blood Prince, what do you think is going to happen in this book? Like as how we ended in Order of the Phoenix, where Voldemort is, known to the wizarding world now. He's like outed. Mm-hmm. What is going to happen in Half-Blood Prince? Are they going to go back to school? Is it going to be completely out of school, or are they going to like go on the hunt for him? Is it going to be a war?
I feel like it'll start with them going back to school, but then if something happens, maybe it becomes a war. I don't know. It's so hard to imagine because it's like I can never predict what she'll write, and it's just like, oh wow, that's so cool. I could have never thought of that. So part of me is like, I don't really know if I can even guess, because it'll probably just surprise me.
Do you think
even like Half-Blood Prince, I'm like, is that referring to Voldemort? Is there someone else that we don't really know?
Okay,
about?
do you think it's a person? What do you think it is?
Half-Blood Prince. I mean,
It makes sense that it's a
I
person,
guess,
right?
yeah, that's what I would think. Yes.
So is
But
there a
it's like
person in the books that
Half-Blood
we've met
Prince.
that is the Half-Blood Prince?
Are they saying anyone that's like half Muggle, half wizard? So it's like both Harry and Voldemort are that. So it's like, are they fighting for the power? I don't know. Is there somebody else? I don't know. I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
so hard
I
to
don't
make
know like
guesses
how to
about it.
think. I feel like I need to start reading it and then maybe like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Out of everyone in the books right now, all like the characters that we've met, which one do you think is good and might go bad, and which one do you think is bad and might go good? Like which
good
character?
question.
We're talking like redemption arcs right here, and we haven't necessarily like the only one that we probably really seen go from good to bad has been Percy.
I know.
But
I'm kind of curious what
that's like a
happens to
weird
him.
one because it's not necessarily all bad. He's just like ministry controlled. So maybe he's going to come around in this book.
I hope he does, to be honest. Because I
But
was
is there?
annoyed.
Yeah, I know. Is there someone that you don't trust that you think you will end up trusting? And is there someone that you really trust that you think might go to the dark side? Or not like really trust. Is there someone good that you like that's on the good side right now that you think might go bad?
I'm trying to think of all the characters.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Like,
you
is
list some,
Bellatrix going to go good?
Oh no, she's like evil to the core. I mean, obviously, if she became good, great, but I just highly doubt that. I think Snape will become good. I don't know if in this book. I think he will have more of a redemption where I think people I'll like him more. Or I'm hoping maybe that's the case. Because right now he's kind of annoying, but
So you kind of think he's bad right now?
not necessarily
But just
fully bad,
mysterious.
but like there's like a little bit of sketchy stuff there. So it's like he could kind of go either way.
Okay.
I feel like he could be influenced, but because Dumbledore trusts him and he seems loyal to Dumbledore, I want to believe that he's more good than bad.
All right. So let's stop at Snape for a second. This is going to be a tough question that you kind of like to have to come up with a theory for.
Oh,
Should have asked you this
okay.
beforehand. But what would do you in for Snape? So say Snape is either bad or good. It doesn't matter. Say he's just like an entity. What would he have to do in order for you to gain his trust fully? Because you don't really trust him yet. He's like a weird guy. What would he have to do in order for you to like fully trust him? And then what would he have to do in order for you to fully mistrust him, to hate him?
I think if he did something for Harry to save him, like in public, because I feel like now it's been very undercover.
Yeah.
He doesn't want anyone to know that he kind of has a thing for Harry because I don't know why. He just doesn't. I think because he has resentment from his dad, whatever. So I think if he was like public about it and he was willing to like sacrifice himself or step in and save him in front of other people that might be like, what the heck are you doing? I'd be like, okay, he's, a good guy, I guess.
Yeah.
But right now it's always been like on the DL. He doesn't really want people to know that he's trying to help Harry because he wants to save face to like the Malfoys or like,
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know.
So if
that
he
kind
did
of stuff.
something publicly to save Harry.
Yeah, because
You
then
trust
it's like, all right, you don't care what people think. Like
Yeah.
you're willing to like have people think differently of you for doing like to help him.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
So that I think would, I guess not would just be like doing anything shady or anything to like hurt or undermine Harry or Dumbledore or any of them.
And that kind of would make sense too, because Harry's dad saved Snape, so maybe his character arc is like Snape will save Harry, and then the debt is paid.
Like that
and you're good.
redemption. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping something like that happens, but we'll see.
What would happen that you would completely mistrust him? That you think he's...
I think like the reverse, like anything to undermine like Harry or Dumbledore, any of them really, like do something that hurts them, not helps them. I mean, again, yeah. It wouldn't, I guess, it wouldn't take much. Like if he did something really sketchy or like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, yeah, you're not good. I had hope for you, but you ruined it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have a few other... we're going to do like character kind of quick character summaries, like what you think of this character or not. But
Okay.
even before we get there, but for both of you, what has been up until this point your favorite moment in these books? Like what is we'll do favorite moment in a little bit. What is like one moment that you read in these books that you're like, it like brings you all the warm fuzzies? As Kristen made fun of me a while ago for saying warm fuzzies. She's lost in her book.
I what?
Don't worry about it. So
Just
like
making fun of John per usual.
even what's your warm fuzzies are like when they're having meals
Warm
together.
fuzzies?
When you're reading this book. Because I know exactly. She didn't even hear me and now she's making fun of me for this.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's like the question.
Oh.
So like me, again, it's strange, but I love the Quidditch chapters. Like when I read them or when I read like even just the intro when they're on the train, that kind of stuff, I'm like,
Yes.
oh, back in the world. And it's
Yes.
just like, you can get lost so
Wait,
easily.
what are my warm fuzzies?
Yeah.
I do like Quidditch, but the anytime everyone's together,
Yeah.
eating or just like going around or whatever.
Yeah. Those are great moments.
That's me. Okay.
What
well,
are your guys like moments like that where you like read a chapter and you're like, oh, we get back here.
I think the train ride, like that you mentioned, and I think I want to be on that train. Like,
Yeah.
I wanna experience that.
I think you can actually. I think that train is somewhere in Scotland or Ireland.
Oh,
or
that'd be
something
so
like that.
cool.
Yeah,
It's on the bucket list then.
it's on the bucket list. We're putting it on.
Yeah.
I think for me, Diagon Alley or any time that they're in
Ooh, yeah.
Hogsmeade, that gives me warm fuzzies. I can't believe I just said that. But yeah.
And have you guys been to Universal in
Yeah.
Florida?
Yes.
I
Is
love
it-
Harry Potter World.
Yes.
I want to go back.
I've also been to Edinburgh where she based a lot of the landscape and story of, and there's this one, it's a very famous street called, I think it's called Victoria Street or Victoria Avenue. I don't remember. But you walk down it and it is literally like Diagon Alley. Like it's
that's cool.
so colorful. It's beautiful curve. And like this has this whole second floor part with all of the buildings and you can go up and like look down on the street. It's very cool. So yeah, you could just see like where she got all the influence from, and that's pretty wild.
John, have you been to Universal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went. I don't know if I told this story before. I went. I played college soccer, and I went with my college soccer team because we had a tournament down there, and we had like a down day because we got eliminated early, and we still had 2 games to play, and none of us wanted to play the games. So we had,
why is that?
Because we were. So it was an 8 team tournament, and it was just you went down there, so you just were guaranteed 3 games. But as soon as we lost the first game in a devastating way too. Like we lost. Hey Wes, relax. We lost. We were up 3-0, and we ended up losing 4-3. It was awful.
sucks.
Terrible.
And so at the end, we went into overtime and we went into PKs. Oh, no, actually, it was 3-3 and we went into PKs and we lost in PKs. And we were just devastated. So none of us wanted to practice or play in the other games.
Yeah.
We were like, it's all pointless. So
Yeah.
our
That's
coach
rough.
gave us off of practice for one day.
Okay.
And we just went to a Universal.
Nice,
And so our
okay.
whole college team, it was like 2 years after they had made the whole thing. So
Okay.
it wasn't like really built up or anything like that. But all of us were just hanging out in Universal like a big soccer team. We were all just,
Nice. Did
chilling.
you get butterbeer?
We did. We got all that
Nice,
kind of
nice.
stuff. They were just kind of coming out with it. I think they only had like one flavor of it when I was there, but now they have like a ton. And they were just converting all the stuff. So they had built Hogwarts. They were just starting to build out Hogsmeade a little bit, not too much. But they were just building it out. So like they were just switching roller coasters over to Harry Potter stuff. And
Okay, cool.
so it was like at the
Very new.
Yeah, it was really new.
Okay.
But I would do anything to go back because I've heard it's phenomenal.
I can't wait to go
lately.
back now after reading the books because I'll appreciate it that much more.
Exactly. You'll like understand
Because
stuff
like
in there.
exactly, that's like I liked it then, so I can imagine now after reading the books.
You definitely feel like you're transported.
Yeah, it's so cool.
for
They
sure.
did such a good job from what I remember. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, let's go over some of the characters. What do you think of the trio? Like, what do you think of Harry? What's your impressions of Harry? How do you like him? Do you think he's a good character or not? Not like good and like good or evil, but like, is he an enjoyable character to read?
yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think part of the maturing has been rough at points, but it is cool to see that he has been maturing from book to book. I think his stubbornness or anger, I don't know what the right character trait is, but like can sometimes get in the way, and that's frustrating. But I think that's why Ron and Hermione are good for him to kind of balance him out and keep him in check.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am impressed by him, just like everything he's been through and to where he is now, like losing his parents at such a young age, having to live with like his terrible aunt and uncle and cousin who are just like the worst people ever.
What's his worst attribute and what's his best attribute?
I think, I don't know if this is the right word. I can't think of the right word, but like his stubbornness almost of like, well, he's just so convinced that he's right and that gets in the way of things. Like even in this last book with Sirius, he was so convinced Sirius was there and just like kind of all the events that followed. So I think sometimes he's just so set in his ways that he gets blinded by other things. And that's why it was helpful that Hermione kind of tried to help him. But at some point he's just like, no, like he's just so set. But at the same time, it's like kind of his best thing in a way too, because he's just so determined to like help people and against all odds. So even if you think he's ridiculous, it's still, he still makes it happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of his best and worst, I guess.
Yeah.
So for Harry, if I think he's, or do you want me to do the trio?
Yeah. Do you like him first of all,
love
and what's his
him.
best and worst attribute? You love him. Why do you love
do.
him?
I think that he is just so willing to go the extra mile for the people that he loves, almost probably to a fault,
Yeah.
and gives like way more of himself.
Like in the 5th book, Hermione says he has a saving people complex.
yeah, he does for
definitely.
sure.
He does.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best thing, but also gets in the way of him.
I think it almost blinds him to like the bigger picture of things. I would say that's probably his worst. It's his best and worst attribute, I would say.
Yeah, honestly, and that's one good thing that she does in this book. Sometimes their best attribute is always their worst attribute as well.
I think it's most people in life.
Yeah,
It's like your
yeah.
best attribute can also be your worst if it's not in balance.
Exactly, and she writes characters so well like that. I think.
Yeah,
So I'm a fan.
she does.
What about Ron? Do you like him?
Yeah, I love Ron.
What's his best and worst? Mel, do you like Ron?
I go back and forth.
Why?
I think he's a good comedic relief.
Yeah.
He's very loyal. He's just always there for Harry, and that's what Harry needs.
Yeah.
I do think that he's always there for Harry, but I think too that he will easily just like snap or maybe get like jealous of Harry or just in certain ways. And I think that can be almost like a more sticking point for the two of them.
He's like petty sometimes.
He can be,
Yeah,
exactly.
for
He's
sure.
petty. Yeah.
I think
you
it's just like he
understand?
needs to mature a little
Yeah,
bit.
for
I think
sure, yeah.
I think he'll grow
He's a
out
late
of that.
bloomer.
Yeah,
He'll be okay, I think.
He deals with a little bit of jealousy.
Yes.
For
he
sure.
does.
especially when it comes to money and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
the-
understanding his background, you kind of understand why. Like he grew up poor, so it's like, yeah, I don't know.
What about Hermione?
She's awesome. I'm just like, she's like mature beyond her years, I feel like,
Yeah.
and just like her insight and being able to keep Ron and Harry in check. It's a
love
lot of
her.
work, so props to her.
Yeah, I love her. I think she's brilliant, very clear and level-headed, and she's able to, like you said, Kay, like get the guys off of the ledge and be like, "No, we can actually go this way," and almost like backs them up.
Yeah, because Harry wouldn't have been as successful as he has been without her. Like,
Oh, totally.
so
Completely
many
agree.
times she's given like the final piece that he's like, oh, it clicks, and he knows what to do. But like without her, he'd be stuck. So
Yeah, I think that having the three of them together, though, they also balance each other out.
yeah.
How about Neville?
If I like him or not?
Yeah.
I do.
Because he's one of your favorites. You already said he's one of your favorites.
I think I relate to him too, just because, so his parents were like, I guess, institutionalized, or like felt like he couldn't talk about it just because there was like this stigma there. And I also feel like that because my mom also has mental illness. So I feel like growing up, it's like one of those things of like, you don't really talk about it because no one understands it. And so it's like, I can relate to him in that of like, oh, I feel like you just don't talk about it because you feel like people won't get it. But I also feel like too, it's like, he's just one of those characters, like he just needs someone to like encourage him and put time and effort into him, and like he'll bloom. And you just see it in this book of like Carrie teaching him and just like how much he's grown and just like the courage he has. He's willing to stick up for them and like fight. And it's cool to see. So I'm curious to see like in the next 2 books how that progresses.
Yeah. You understand like why he's one of my favorite characters now for that.
Yeah. No, you definitely appreciate, especially in this book, like how much he's grown.
Yeah, I would say Neville is up there for me too. You could just tell like exactly what you said. Like if you just give him a little bit, like he will just bloom and blossom. And I think you really see it in this book. And he just has such a soft heart.
I know.
Like I have such a soft spot for Neville. I really do.
But it's crazy because you would have never thought from book 1 to now, like how much he's progressed.
I know.
Like you never would have picked him of like, oh, I love him as a character. But
I definitely agree with you on that.
So,
how about Luna?
See, I feel like I don't know her well enough yet, but I know everyone loves her. So I'm like excited to see in the next 2 books, like how she develops.
Yeah, you don't really get a ton of moments with her, but you just love her for the small little things that she does. Like at the end of this book, when she just comforts Harry in a way that no one else can, that's kind of why you love her.
And I don't know if I really got this in the book, but in the movie when they like, I really felt bad for her when like everyone was taking her stuff. I'm like,
I know.
Everyone's so mean. Like she's like, what did she do to them?
I know.
Just because she's quirky? Like that's not nice.
She's different. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very typical to high school stuff. Like if you're just different from everyone else, you're going to get picked on.
I guess I do respect that about her though, because I feel like she's just so comfortable and confident in who she is. She doesn't care. Like she doesn't care if people think she's weird. She just is who she is.
Unapologetically herself, which is one of her best attributes. Again,
amazing, especially at that age. Like to be that way is like amazing. So
like looking back on it, when you're in college and people can do that, they're the coolest people in the world. But when you're in high school and someone's like that, you're like, ugh, this person shouldn't be unapologetically themselves, but they really should be.
Right.
And Luna is that.
We're just not mature enough to like see that for ourselves.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I'm excited to see how she progresses because I know everyone loves her. So something's got to happen with her.
Luna's incredible. Luna lives in her own world, and I want to be there too.
Yeah, right. She really does.
She does. Yeah.
You're gonna love her even more. I'll
I
just say
figured.
that.
Yeah, I figured that would happen.
Yeah. What do you think about Ginny?
She's awesome too. I feel like this book she really like blossomed and stepped up, and I was like, oh wow, cool. Because I feel like she's always just been kind of in the background in the other books, but now she kind of came more to the forefront. So I was annoyed in the movie because she wasn't there at all, and I'm like, she had so many good moments in this book. Why are they not like showing any of them? But
yeah, I think this book really gives Ginny and just shows like how much potential she has as a character. Kind of similar to like how Neville, like it took time for him to like really like come up, and you're like, oh, now he's a favorite. Ginny for me comes in the same way.
Yeah, which is interesting. She does a great job of like keeping characters in the background, and then all of a sudden they get a moment or two where they're like in the forefront. Like Neville, Luna, and Ginny are that in this book.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't have a ton of page time in any of the other books, but this book you just love all of them. They're so good.
And I wonder if part of that too is that just with how the storyline progresses, it's almost like she planned for them to kind of come in a little bit later so that you have the brain space to focus on them.
Yeah. She developed the other,
She's so thoughtful about all that stuff, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Like, she took time to develop the trio, and then she moved on to like the other characters and show their importance too, which is really cool.
It still blows my mind that she came up with all of this.
I know.
Like, how did she do this? How?
It's insane. I know. A few other characters. What do you think about Rita Skeeter?
She's sketchy, but I like that Hermione kind of put her in her place.
Wait, what do you think about Hermione putting her in her place?
Because
Hermione was a little intense
but
about
she was
that.
kind of asking for it, so I don't feel too bad. She was like,
Hermione was keeping her in a jar.
She shouldn't have been spying on other people like that. Like she got what she asked for. Like, you stole other people's privacy. Now you don't get any.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, like I think it was a little extreme, but at the same time, it's like if she didn't do what she was doing, like Hermione wouldn't have done that.
That's another part of this book too. The characters that you love still have serious flaws to them.
Yeah, but you kind of overlook them because you like them so much.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
So that's just an example. Like that's kind of not a great thing.
Yeah.
But
Hermione seems like the golden perfect person in this book. But I remember reading it this time, I'm like, she is being near abusive. Yeah, okay, Rita deserves it. We all say that. And the same thing, like you can say when Fred and George picked on Dudley and made him eat that tongue toffee. You're like, oh yeah, Dudley deserved it. Because we just all hate Dudley. We're like, Dudley sucks. But that was mean of them to do that. The same thing for Hermione having an ultimatum, like having blackmail against Rita. You're like, Rita deserves it, but at the same point, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Which is good.
I see what you're saying.
That's why you love some of these characters, because they're not all perfectly pure-hearted.
Right.
Maybe Luna might be the only one. I don't know.
Luna is a star among them.
Yeah, but even with the Dudley, like I don't feel that bad because he's just like he kind of needs something to put him in place because his parents don't do anything to like discipline him. So it's like, again, I think it wasn't the right way to go about it per se, but I'm also just kind of like, don't feel that bad either. Which maybe I should. I don't know.
They're also teenagers.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, it's like kind of, pranks are part of life.
Yeah. What do you think of like Fred and George? What do you think
I love them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love them.
Great.
They're such good comedic relief in these books too. And I love the way they just like pieced out this book.
Yeah.
It was like the best.
Such a good exit.
And like it took I forget how long, days, weeks for Umbridge to fix it all. I was like, yes, you go. I was impressed that they could have like that lasting impact after they left.
And you love them in this book too because you hate Umbridge and they're the kind of the ones that
they don't care.
Get Umbridge. Yeah, they don't care.
I just love it. They're like, we don't want to deal with this anymore. Bye. Yeah. And I'm like, yes. That was definitely a highlight of this book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're hilarious to me. They're almost like one person though.
Yeah.
Because they're so in sync with each other.
Well, they are a lot in the movies.
I think that's truly what it is. Yeah.
Because they finish each other's sentences and stuff like that in the movies. And you're like, this is annoying. Twins don't actually really ever do this. In the books, they're slightly different, but they're kind of
still not
the same.
that distinct though to me. It's hard to differentiate like what Fred does versus what George does. Like they're kind of, again, one unit in my mind. It would be cool to get maybe more of their personalities, but you don't really get a lot of that, I feel like. People
in our subreddit have talked about the difference between them, and I think there's a really good one, but it's so subtle.
Okay.
It's unless you're like really looking for it, and you can't really look for it on a first read sometimes. But George is a bit more reserved, and Fred is the kind of the leader of the crew. Anytime they start something, Fred is usually the one that like is instigating stuff. He was the one even that asked Angelina out in the way that he asked Angelina out, where he like throws all the things. He's like, "Oh, Angelina."
Yeah, I definitely didn't notice that, but that makes sense, I guess.
And George is a little bit more reserved. He's like, he kind of just follows.
Okay.
But they're still kind of the same too.
Yeah. Maybe the second read I'll pick up on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't pick up on it, but I also love them. So
maybe the 10th read then.
Maybe the 10th read.
Who's your favorite of the Weasleys?
Not Percy.
Anybody but Percy.
Pretty much, honestly.
They're a great family.
Yeah, they are really good. I like them all. So it's hard to pick a favorite.
It's so hard to pick a favorite. I don't really know if I have one. Maybe Mrs. Weasley.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Mr. Weasley. Kind of. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
They're just such a great family.
I really can't pick because they're all good in their own ways too. Yeah. I just really don't like Percy right now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping he has a redemption just because I want to like all the Weasleys. But
can I pick Fred and George? I know it's two characters, but I mean, I just said that they're pretty much one. Yeah. So.
Which of the teachers is your favorite teacher? And is Snape your least favorite? Or is Trelawney your least favorite? Who's your least favorite too?
Lupin's my favorite, even though he's not currently teaching. He was my favorite. I feel like he was just like the actual best teacher. Least favorite? I don't really mind Trelawney. I mean, I know she's not like the most like accurate or whatever, but she doesn't bother me that much. Snape, I think he knows what he's talking about, but he's just annoying about, he's like the ultra strict teacher that no one likes.
Yeah.
But like he knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, maybe him if Umbridge isn't an option.
Umbridge is the worst.
Yeah, she's just the worst. I'm trying to think who are the other.
Is Hagrid technically a teacher?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
I'm
Hagrid.
like-
Yes, then
Yeah. Hagrid's probably my favorite.
yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
guess-
another interesting one. What do
'cause-
you think of Hagrid?
Well, I guess it depends if we're talking about the quality of teacher versus just like as a
Yeah.
person who is
Oh,
a teacher.
yeah.
For sure. So like Hagrid's not the best teacher, but just
Right.
person.
But as a person, oh
you
yeah, I
know?
love
Oh,
Hagrid. Yeah.
Yeah. As a person, for sure. As a teacher, I mean, it's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah,
love
yeah.
him anyway. We love him in
Exactly.
spite of that.
Exactly. He just has such a big heart.
Yeah, for sure. He's just clumsy and he just doesn't
Yeah.
have like some social awareness maybe.
Right.
And just has a soft spot for the really big animals, and who can blame him?
I know. Which is one of Hagrid's greatest attributes because again, like it's his greatest flaw or his greatest strength and his greatest flaw that when he's teaching care magical creatures, he's teaching
Yeah.
them all the weird things that no one else would. But he has a soft spot for those things. In the same way he has a soft spot for like outliers, like the trio come, like he has a soft spot for Harry, he has a soft
Yeah.
spot for people who sometimes are hurting or misunderstood.
Which I love that about him.
And it's so compelling as a character. I think it's such a good character.
Yeah, it's hard not to like him. I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree.
What do you guys think of Draco Malfoy?
Ugh. He's the most annoying kid ever. Just needs like a punch to the face and maybe that'll do. I don't know.
In the movies, Hermione did give him a punch to the face.
I know. Go Hermione.
It was great.
That was a good moment.
yeah.
He's just like so into himself and he thinks he's all that and he just needs to be humbled.
Yeah.
Like he just, I hope he has a redemption story, but I don't know if he will.
I think after seeing his father, I understand why Draco is the way that he is.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So I get it, but at the same time, it's so
I was saying,
irritable. His ego can't fit through the door. Like he
gonna
just is ridiculous.
yeah, based on his parents, you do understand why, but it is still is annoying.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Here's a scenario for you.
Oh.
You're going into a battle
Ah,
with Voldemort, and you can take 5 other wizards
oh gosh. Okay.
in the entire book. Who's on your team? Who's your starting 5?
Definitely Dumbledore. Does he count?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, for sure Dumbledore. I think Harry and Hermione too, just because of all that they've done so far together. I love Ron, but I feel like
Yeah, I don't know.
he's more
about
the sidekick and not
I don't know
doesn't
about a
contribute
starting
in that
5.
one. Yeah.
He's a support player on the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Lupin?
With-
Would you take like Lupin? Anybody in the Order of the
Yeah,
Phoenix?
Lupin. Yeah. I think he's very like calm and level-headed and knows a lot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who are the other people in Order of the Phoenix? I'm blanking.
So like you have the Longbottoms, you have Sirius, like Mundungus Fletcher, you have Kingsley Shacklebolt, Tonks.
Tonks would be fun, but I don't know if I've seen enough for her to know like if she's like the best choice.
Yeah, at this point in the books, you don't necessarily know all the characters well
it's-
enough to like be able to.
Yeah. And Sirius, I like Sirius, but I feel like he's too hot-headed or like
Yeah, he would kind of like be
he's like a little unpredictable.
live wire.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can be like for sure count on you if you're just gonna go like, oh, I want to go rogue and do my own thing. Like kind of like in this book, he kind of, I don't know. So I guess
You got Dumbledore.
Harry, Hermione, Lupin. Who's number 5?
I mean, you have some of the teachers too: Flitwick, McGonagall.
Oh, you're right.
If you're really dark, you can take like Bellatrix.
Oh no. Maybe McGonagall actually. I feel like she's kind of underrated sometimes. But
Yeah.
I think she's good.
She's an underrated character
Yeah.
in this.
I don't know. It's hard.
You can take some of the Weasleys. You can take Molly.
True. It's so hard to pick. I guess I'll stick with that for now. I might have a different answer at the end of the books. But
Yeah, at the end of the books, your answers might change because you might
Yeah.
know different things about the different
yeah,
characters.
for sure. You see more of them.
And at the end of the book, I'm gonna have different flavors of that question for you.
Yeah. I said if I was really good, I'd have everyone have like a different strong suit and like balance it. But like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
thinking off the top of my head, I don't have enough time to really think through that. So I guess Dumbledore, Harry, Hermione, Lupin, And we'll just say McGonagall for now. Or throw her in. What about you? It's hard to pick.
It is so hard to pick. So from what we know now, I would take Dumbledore for sure. That's just like...
Yeah, it's a given. I feel like,
yeah.
It's a given. The trio. Because I feel
all
like...
of them,
You
wow.
would take Ron too?
I would take Ron too. I have faith in Ron.
Okay. I have faith in Ron too. I just don't know if he'd be top 5. Like he'd be 6, 7, 8 maybe.
I would love to give Bellatrix like some type of pill to just make her be good because her powers are insane. She's probably my favorite villain, if to be honest.
She's a good villain.
Because she's just nuts. I love her. I think she's so
You
complex.
just can't trust her, obviously.
I know. So naturally, I would come up with a spell to make her good, and then I can trust her. But if
she breaks the spell?
Yeah, I know. And then if I can't do that,
yeah, it's a little risky. It's up to you though.
I understand that it's up to me. It's my team. McGonagall, then, if I can't, get Bellatrix to behave in the way I want her to.
McGonagall would be great. Yeah. Some of those characters, they would be like, Sirius is great, but he would be such a wild card. It'd be tough to have him
he's too
in there.
unpredictable.
Yeah.
Snape, too.
Yeah, for
Snape
sure.
Snape has a lot of knowledge, too.
Yeah. He's such a mystery up until this point. Like the things that he says, you're like, this dude knows. This dude has been places, This dude knows stuff, but you just don't know anything about him. So you're like, is he in my starting 5? He's
John,
like,
who would it be for you?
Oof. At this point in the books,
Yeah.
I mean, Dumbledore is a given.
Yeah.
He's like a very obvious choice.
Yeah.
I would take Harry because I don't think Harry's a great wizard at this point. I think he is in some ways.
But look at all he's done in each book.
Exactly. I'm taking him for that reason because he's got a 4-0 record against Voldemort because Voldemort can't beat him. So he's like almost a lucky charm.
Yeah.
I would 100% take Hermione if it was like, if Harry didn't have...
I think they need them together because Hermione helps Harry a lot to get his
Hermione's
success.
the brains of the whole group too. And then, I mean, like, I love Ron, but I wouldn't take him. I love Neville, but I wouldn't take him. I love
they're not
Lupin,
strong enough yet.
Or I love Ginny and I love Luna, but I can't take them because I feel like there's such a disparity. There's such a gap between the actual people in the Order of the Phoenix and the
they still have a lot to learn. They're young.
Yeah, agreed.
I think they have a lot of potential, but they're not there yet.
100%.
Yeah.
I would probably take Kingsley and I would probably take Tonks.
Okay.
Because Tonks is... She's in the Aura program. The Aura program is really tough to like actually get into. And she was one of the last few people to get in the last few years, apparently. So Tonks is like a very skilled. She's just a little clumsy. But like even for her ability to change and like morph herself.
Right, true. That's why I said like she seems interesting, but I kind of want to know more about her.
Yeah, for sure.
But that makes sense to me.
But that's a different question. At the end of the book, I'd probably answer that differently. And at the end of the book, we'll have
I imagine I'll probably answer differently too.
Yeah.
So wait, so who did you say?
I'd probably go Dumbledore, Harry, Hermione, Tonks, and Lupin, and Kingsley. But Lupin's right there too. Lupin's like sixth man of the year.
Because what do we know about Kingsley that he's done that like would make you say that? I'm trying to think.
He's just good. He's like a good undercover wizard.
Okay.
Because there's a few reasons. So in the books, it mentions that he is.
Is it in this last book that he?
Yeah, I got to be really careful.
Because I'm trying to think about how much I remember of him. But granted, I don't know.
John's also read them like 10 times.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, are you like projecting from like future books, or is it?
I'm projecting maybe a little bit from future books, but at the same point, he just has like an aura about him in this book that I would still pick him.
I guess he didn't stick out enough to me in this book.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also my first time read, so
yeah. But I mean, there's the one moment in the Ministry, not with Kingsley, but with Dumbledore. It's like one of the where you see his power, where like he steps in and Death Eaters are screaming, they're terrified, and Dumbledore's like whipping them back with his wand, like they're on like little lassos. Okay. So Dumbledore is an obvious given.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He's like
even Voldemort's scared of him.
Yeah, I know.
Dumbledore's
the only one he ever feared.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Kingsley is an aura too, which he's like, I don't know if who is the people on chat? Who's the head of the aura office at this point? I actually think it's Kingsley, and that's another thing in this book. So I think he.
Okay, well that changes things then. Yeah.
Maybe it's him because I think he's asking. He's the one that assigned I don't know, actually.
I forget. How does he come into this book? He's just part of the Order of the Phoenix. That's how we know
Yeah,
him.
he's one of the people.
Okay.
He's the advanced guard. So he was the one that got Harry with all the other groups, with Tonks and with Mad Eye Moody and a few others.
Okay.
Mad Eye Moody could be a good addition to the
I know.
team
Oh,
too.
true.
Yeah,
That is true.
See, how can we only pick 5?
I know. Seriously, it's so hard. It's like, yeah.
Who do we pick on the dark side?
Oh.
Who would be the top 5 on the dark side?
Well, you don't know who's on the dark side. You kind of
don't know enough, yeah.
But like,
I guess you don't know
the
enough.
same thing. You don't know if any of these characters that are good are going to go bad in the end. But
I mean,
like,
Bellatrix probably.
yeah, Bellatrix is an obvious one. Voldemort and Bellatrix are like a given. The sexual tension between the two.
Is that in the books or just in the movie?
It's kind of in the
both.
books too, because
Okay.
she wrote that
Oh, yeah.
character for that, to have some of that. And one of the when she was helping work the movies, that was one of the things that she told what's her name?
Helena Bonham
Yeah.
Carter.
She said like Bellatrix has, it's like different from all the rest of the Death Eaters. She has like an almost like romantic love for this man.
Okay.
So it's different from how all the other Death Eaters portray him.
Yeah, I think, you got a sense of that from this book. Just like her fierce loyalty to him. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
But I don't know if you know enough people on the dark side, like personally, to be able to pick a top 5.
True.
Like Lucius, you kind of, I don't know if Lucius would be in my top 5. Like from what I've seen, he's like a kind of a leader in the group, but I don't know if I would pick him, you know?
He kind of can, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him.
So
Yeah, John, I agree with you. I think up to this point, it's kind of difficult. Like, there's some very obvious ones, like Bellatrix.
Do we have to wait till the next book? Is that when we'll find out?
I can't tell you. You may not know until the 7th, until the last page. I can't tell you anything.
Dang it.
But
That's fair. I guess you don't know enough on that side yet.
yeah, we haven't really explored that fully yet. We got a little taste of it with Bellatrix.
And Kay, what do you think of the prophecy so far?
Ooh.
About how like one of them has to die.
Yeah, so let me actually just read it to
Yeah, I
you.
was gonna say that'd be
Yeah,
helpful.
can you reread it, John?
Okay, this is what the prophecy is. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month dies, and the Dark Lord will mark him as an equal. But he will have power the Dark Lord knows not. And this is the weird part that we'll talk about. First of all, we'll talk about what that power is. And this is the next part. And either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the 7th month dies.
So is it saying that they can't both live? Or one of them has to kill the other
That's a
to
question
live?
you just don't know.
Okay, well that's trying to figure out. Okay.
So like, what is your theory on that? So let's even just break it down. So the first part you kind of know, like it's either Harry or Neville, right? And Dumbledore says it's Harry. Harry is the chosen one because Voldemort was the one that went after Harry. He marked Harry as his equal.
Yes.
What is the power that Harry has that the Dark Lord knows not? Dumbledore does talk about it a little bit in the books, but is that the only thing? So he mentions love is the kind of the power.
I was gonna say I feel like.
Do you think that Harry possesses any other power besides love?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that's definitely a big one because Voldemort is like absent of that.
Yeah.
And so that hinders him from being able to do certain things.
Either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. What is that saying?
I'm trying to figure out, does it mean like they have to, like if Harry wants to live, he has to kill Voldemort and like vice versa? Like to...
So there's one idea. Like one of them has to kill the other.
Right.
Do you think there's any other possible...
Well, part of me, the other thing is like, for Voldemort to be gone, does Harry have to die as well? Like they both have to die.
But why would that be? So that's like another real weird question. Why?
I know. Part of me is like, is because part of Voldemort's power lives within him. So if you kill Voldemort, you're killing part of Harry. And so they just have to.
So that's another, I'm going to ask you questions that you really don't know the answers for.
Okay.
You just have to come up with theories. What is that connection with Harry and Voldemort? Like there's
Like,
they've said that there's something kind of like inside Harry that's a part of Voldemort, right? What is that?
I don't know what it is per se, but I feel like it happened when he tried to kill Harry but couldn't, like unsuccessful. So I think something within that situation like transferred something to Harry. So now he has power from Voldemort because it wasn't successful. I don't know how that works or why that happened, but I just feel like because that's where the scar came from and that's kind of where it all started. So I feel like that's why. Because he's the only one to have ever survived. Is it the Cruciatus curse?
No, Avada Kedavra curse. The killing curse.
Yeah, the killing curse.
Cruciatus is the torture
So I feel
curse.
like because it didn't work, something happened in that.
Yeah.
And he lost a little bit of his power.
What's on a completely different topic? What's been your favorite book or favorite movie so far?
I mean, I think one, just because it's nostalgia. I don't know if it's a favorite, but it's very nostalgic to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like starting the whole world.
Yeah.
This last one, I mean, I guess given how much happens in the book, I say was pretty good. I wish there was more in it, but I think it overall was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's given how long the book is, I feel like they did a decent job. But I don't know how people watch these movies and fully understand what's happening without reading the books.
Yeah.
I think having to read the books like is crucial to understand these movies. And I think maybe that's why I didn't get as into the movies as I did like growing up, because I was like, it's cool, but like I don't think I fully understood or appreciated it. So
they're definitely supplementary in some ways, but they're definitely different pieces of art. Like you can't really combine them, but you have to at the same time.
Right, because it's based off the books, right? Yeah. So
what's your favorite movie? And you can even do the next three that are made.
Oh, because 7 has 2 parts.
7 is the 2, yeah.
Okay. I think that the way that they decided to go about the final book is the best way they could have done those movies, because they did it in 2 parts. They really cover everything. I don't remember there being something massive that they missed. And then if they cut something, I think I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Probably those 2 in terms of what we've seen right now. I think the first one, because I think it was Chris Columbus who directed the first one.
First one was Chris Columbus. Yeah.
I mean, he just has such a vision, like in general with the films that he makes.
Yeah.
And I think he really does a good job at capturing the world and showing you just how it is. Like
he did do a good job of kind of like
brilliant.
Introducing the world. It's not my favorite movie, but you get that nostalgia when you're watching the first
I feel
one.
like it's so nostalgic. That's why it's.
John, what's your favorite movie?
I think 5 is done really well. I also think the first part of the 7th. So the 7th movie, I think they did that really well as well.
Yeah.
So like it better than the last movie.
A little bit. I actually think the last movie is decent. There's some.
Okay.
I mean, with every movie, there's some swings and misses.
Of course. Yeah, for sure.
I think my favorite movies are the ones that have the least amount of swings and misses.
That's fair.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I think the 7th and the 5th have the least amount of swings and misses.
I was gonna say I feel like the 5th of the movies has been the most accurate so
like
far.
The 4th movie, they should have made that like 4 movies, but they skipped so much in that book. It's such a great book too. It's like some people's favorite.
I was gonna say, I think so far it is my favorite, so it's a little disappointing.
And the movie's good. It's entertaining, but it's just nothing compared to the book, you know?
But again, like some of it you don't fully understand, like the whole Mad Eye Moody, like the what's that potion?
Oh,
I'm blanking on the.
They made it so obvious.
Polyjuice potion.
Yeah, the Polyjuice potion. Like that was such a plot twist, but in the movie you don't really appreciate.
Yeah, you don't
that.
understand it. Yeah,
and like he's in the beginning. I don't know. It just. It could have been better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but it is hard to think like how big these books are to make one movie out of that.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
What do you guys think about the series that's coming out? Are you guys?
I'm excited
for it? Yeah,
I'm hoping they'll go into more detail because it's actually a series.
I know.
Like would each season be a book? I'm guessing.
That's what I'm hoping. I think that's what the plan is for it. I think every season, and honestly, like they should do an episode every chapter would just make sense because the chapters are just great. You can combine certain chapters,
long, though. Do you think they would do that?
That'd be like, you definitely couldn't do that with some of the like Order of the Phoenix would have like 38 episodes to it, so that'd be ridiculous.
But even if they did 10 episodes and they were an hour long, like at least that's 10 hours of content versus 2.
I know.
Like you would get a lot more out of it.
I know. Seriously.
So that'd be cool.
They can combine some of them, but
yeah, because I think as cool as it would be to do chapter to chapter, I just don't know if they would do that.
Yep.
And I think too, thinking about how HBO structures their series, even if you go as far back as the 90s, like I would say, like you think even like The Sopranos had 10 episodes.
Yeah, that's kind of what they tend to do.
So that's kind of what they tend to do, and they're an hour long. So I mean, I think 8 hours of the first book, if you cut something, like what is there to cut?
I know, yeah, for sure.
Truthfully. So I think that is enough time for them to really tell the book in its full.
And one of the good things even in that they can like build the characters out. So like in the books, you're just with these characters all the time. So like in the first season might feel like it's going a little slow, but it's going to be so good for character building. Yeah, it's going to prepare you for that. And that's why the movies, I think, fall so short that they don't give you some of that time with the characters that you need.
Yes.
Like Neville, you're like, who the heck is Neville? Neville just replaces Dobby in the movies.
Yes.
Like Dobby, everything that Dobby does in the books, they just give to Neville in the movies. And that's all he is. So it's like so annoying.
And even Ginny and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too that now that like the series is over and they know everything, they know what's important to cover, especially, and really highlight it. So I think that will just help the writing and the directors.
And I think too, the advantage of a movie is like it's visual, right? So you don't have to describe the visual; you just show it. Whereas in the book, you have to build that because that's all you have is words. So
True.
Agreed.
I think that cuts some of it out too.
I know. That's the other thing. I was talking about this with the other crew. There's a you need this in storytelling because it like makes your audience figure things out and it makes them something sticks with the character. So there's a moment with Neville that drives me crazy in the movies when he describes what his parents went through. And he says, like 16 years ago, Bellatrix Lestrange tortured my mom and my dad. And then he talks for a little bit and he goes, I still am really proud of them though. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a line in the movies. It's cute. He's still proud of his parents, but you just need a visual to that. You need to show how he's proud of his parents. And the book does that so much better to me.
I know it was such a sweet moment when he was like holding all the things that his mom gave him. Like from I was like
he took the little gum wrapper and put it in his pocket. Like that shows that he is so proud of his parents in a much deeper way than him just saying it.
I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's
he's
so tough.
Such a good character.
Yeah. But yeah, to your point, like the movie doesn't capture those things, and that's where it's tough.
Yeah.
Because those are such good moments.
I know. Someone said it's supposed to be 10 seasons.
10? So how are they breaking it up then if it's not by book?
They definitely can. So they like the last 2 books, there's
so
points
much
when
there.
they can break it up. I would,
100%.
if it was me, do like the first book is 1 season, second is up until like the 4th, and the 4th you probably split into 2 seasons. The 5th you might split into 2. You can split the last like 4 books. You can split. So honestly, give me 20 seasons of this.
John will never get sick of it.
If you need HBO, if you want a writer, I'm here. I'm available.
Make sure it's accurate to the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh, wow. When is it supposed to come out?
No one knows, but hopefully soon.
Okay.
I was talking to Mel about this. I'm like, their HBO is good with like pumping stuff out. I hope they pump it out quick.
I hope they get good actors for it.
I know. I actually people are going on casting for stuff like that. I really would love Adam Driver to be cast as Snape.
Yes.
But at the same point, I would love unknown actors to be cast in these roles. Like there's a weird point to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the movies of Harry Potter actually do a good job. There's known actors, but they're all in British stuff. So like when you're American and you're watching that, you don't really notice a lot of these people.
Okay.
True.
And some of the characters that you do notice, like Emma Thompson, who plays Trelawney, you don't really necessarily notice her fully because she's so
done up,
dressed up, you know, so costumed. But I'm excited for that. I hope they.
I'm excited too.
Knock it out. Yeah. All right. What is your favorite moment in these books? Maybe this will be one of the last questions.
Yeah.
Probably the scene in the first book where Hagrid comes to get Harry and then takes him shopping for everything he needs for school. Like that just opens up the world so much. And I think that really started my love for Hagrid because he literally took him under his wing and is like, no, come on, like we'll go to Diagon Alley. We'll go and get your robe and your wand. And
I love the moment in that
so
too,
precious
where Harry falls asleep after that. Or when Hagrid comes in the cabin and tells him everything.
Oh, yeah.
They fall asleep in the cabin and then they wake up and Harry's like, before he opens his eyes, he's like, oh, I had such a good dream. It was such a good dream. And then he wakes up and then he realizes it's all reality. And it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's like,
That is
let's
so
go.
good.
It's so cute.
It's such a great moment.
I don't know. There's like,
I know it's hard, especially
overwhelming.
on a first read. It's really difficult.
I feel like I should have taken better notes when I thought of things.
Have you gotten emotional in any of the books yet?
Emotional.
Because I know for me, my favorites are the parts that I tear up at, which is sad, but they're
No,
just
that makes
such,
sense though.
Yeah,
It's like they
they're
touch you, so that
well
makes
written.
sense.
I know.
I don't know if I don't really get too emotional with that kind of stuff, but I mean, when what's his face died in book 4? I'm blanking on his name.
Cedric.
Yeah, I was sad about that. I was
yeah.
like, what?
That is such a good moment.
Like,
I know.
especially because he sacrificed so much for Harry to it wasn't about him winning. I was just like, what? Like, no, he can't die.
I know, that was devastating.
That was really sad. That was hard. And that was so hard on Harry too. Like,
I know.
I just feel bad for Harry because he's losing like Cedric and then Sirius. It's just like back to back, like really intense stuff for someone that was
that
like
Harry loves just
like
ends up dying.
14, 15. I forget how old he is at this point. It's just a lot.
There's also a mass, what's the reverse of outcry? What's the opposite? Like calling, like people are dying to have Tom Felton, who played Draco, play Lucius Malfoy in the series.
Oh,
Which would be so good,
that'd
right?
be cool. Yeah.
I am here for that.
That would be so
you think that would happen? I wonder if that would
phenomenal.
happen.
I
Wow.
hope it happens.
That would be
Yeah.
a nice nod to the movies.
Yeah, agreed. Because he would be like a different character, but it's like still, oh, it would be so good.
Yeah. I wonder if they would try to pull anybody else from the original movies into
There
the
was
series.
a really cute moment when he was doing like an interview on something completely different. I think it might have actually been part of Harry Potter, but
Okay.
they were doing a Zoom interview. Him, Tom Felton, and the guy who plays Lucius, which I forgot his name at the moment. But there was like a sweet little moment where Tom Felton was like flustered and he was like grabbing something and he goes, "Wait a minute, Dad." And he like actually mentioned like he was his dad, but he's not obviously his dad, but it was so
Okay.
cute. Everyone's like, oh, he so calls him dad.
Oh, that's cute.
Even though you hate both of their characters in the books, in the movies.
I wonder would like Harry like or what is from the movies play like his dad and
Ooh, that'd be
the
a
series.
good nod too. Like small nods like that.
Right.
I don't
like
know
they're
if
a minor
Daniel,
character, but
Yeah.
like
I'm not the biggest Daniel Radcliffe fan, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
mind
fair.
if he's just out of it.
right. But I wonder if they would try to like pull it from that.
Yeah,
And,
but
like,
maybe
have
like a
them
small thing. Give him like a role of like the train conductor or something like that. You know?
yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
Or like Ron being Mr. Weasley or I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that would be a fun nod for the audience.
Yeah.
that would be so good. Do you have a favorite moment though? It's so hard. It's such a tough question.
Yeah. I
You
don't
can
know.
you can even specifically talk
because I
about
feel like I would have to like comb through all the
yeah. In the last book, let's just talk about the last book.
I really did like the Dumbledore Harry moment. I think maybe because I was missing Dumbledore the whole time. So like they finally have this conversation and you get answers. So I liked that. And just like a more real moment from Dumbledore because I feel like you respect him so much, but he does feel kind of like emotionally distant, I guess,
Yeah.
just because he has to be this
Agreed.
like leader. So it's kind of just cool to see more of like his human side, I guess. And
He's
just their
vulnerable.
connection.
Yep.
And just like how much he said, like he let his love for Harry kind of get in the way of telling him things. So I think
know.
that was sweet.
John, what's your favorite moment so far?
In this read, it's been the end of Order. And I don't think it's because it's just so fresh in my mind, but the end of Order, the last 2 chapters just affected me in a way that I've never been affected by the last 2 chapters before, where it's like, I have previously, when Sirius has died, I've been like really sad about that, shed some tears over that in previous reads. And this part, I mean, I knew it was coming. So like, it's still sad and emotional. And the lines that she puts in there do a lot of justice and make it really sad. But I think his processing after and just his feeling deep aloneness, but still,
Harry feeling this, you're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
But still like choosing to be with his friends and his friends all coming around him and being present for him is just, it's just such phenomenal writing in a way that like I couldn't even explain when I was reading this section. Like the last 2 chapters, the Dumbledore download, and then right after that, they're just perfectly written, perfectly paced. It's like Harry is depressed and sad, but he's still with people that he loves. He still has people that he loves around him. It's like still clinging onto this idea, which is a huge theme of these books, of love. And I think she just knocks it out of the park in those last 2.
Yeah.
I have other favorites too. Like I love all the Quidditch stuff. I love that stuff. Like
She didn't really have much of this in the last book, which is annoying.
In the 3rd book, one of my
Sunbridge.
favorites was when they won the Quidditch Cup, and I was like, finally, they actually got it.
Yeah.
The 4th book has some of my favorite moments in it, but that
Yeah.
moment for this read was just so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh man.
So every time you read through the books, do you like notice something different? Still, even though it's been
for
a lot.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. There's so much in there.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, it's like any book. You read it at a different point in your life and you just
Right.
notice different things. But this one in particular, like fans are still discovering new things about this universe. Like
Yeah,
they
it's
never saw
wild.
in the books. So it's so fun. It's so entertaining. It's got such a fun community around it that it just makes it fun, even after you've read it once.
Right.
Like Jen keeps talking about, like, I don't know if I'm going to reread this. And there's a point where some people aren't going to reread it and some people just aren't going to do that. But
Right.
it's so much fun to reread this series just because you get lost in the world again. Like has your reread experience been good?
It's been really good. I don't think I realized how much I forgot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I remember a lot of like the really big pivotal moments. Like I remembered Sirius died, but I didn't remember how it actually happened.
Yeah.
Which was so crazy to me. So I'm really looking forward to reading the last 2 and seeing what I pick up that I didn't before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for a second read too, because now that you know what happens, it's like going back to see all the things you missed.
Yep.
And like, so I think that'll be cool.
I think especially in thinking about the first book with Sirius on the bike, I was like, wait a second, why do I think I know what this part is from? But I couldn't remember enough. But I was like, I know this from something else. Yeah.
That's like the small things that she puts in the first book are just the foreshadowing of it. It's just next level. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Oh, really?
is
See, and
so
that's
good.
why it would be cool to go back, because then you would see all that now.
Which is why,
Which you
like,
don't see in the first
a
read.
reread is so much fun because you see all the stuff that you missed the first time. Like you are able to figure things out, like the little things that she puts in the 4th book for letting you know that Moody is not the right person. Barty Crouch.
I know when you
Just
find that
small
out, you're like, oh
things.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And then you realize looking back, it all makes sense, but you didn't see it coming until it
I know.
happened.
And you can never see it coming. Like it's that's
what I'm saying. She does such a
reading.
good job. It's like,
know.
how do you do that? I
She's
respect
an excellent
it.
storyteller right now. So
Respect
good.
it. Yeah.
I don't have any more questions, but you guys have anything else?
No, but I've been liking it so far. So
Good.
I'm excited for 6 and 7.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I know it's gonna be so
know.
good. Seriously, it's gonna be so much
And
fun.
I've been
doing the
appreciating
next-
it at this pace too, just because like you really studying it and getting into it. So I think it's sticking a little.
Yeah, we are
better than
definitely
it would
reading it
otherwise.
completely different from how a lot of other people read it.
Yeah.
Like you can tear through these books. Like you read these
Of
books
course.
in 2 months or whatever, in a month.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a record, but it is in my mind.
We did have someone in our book club read it in a week.
Read what in a
talked
week?
about it.
All of them?
All of the Harry Potter
How?
books in a week. She's one of the fastest readers I've ever met in my life.
Okay, I was gonna say.
That's
So she was
incredible.
comprehending what she read.
Yep. Not like perfectly, but she was comprehending it. Like I would mention
Wow.
a super side niche character, and she's like, I don't remember him that much, but she kind of remembers it. But she read it in a week, and she was hooked on it.
Dang.
She loved them.
I don't know if I could do a book in a week.
Yeah,
Let alone
some
all
people are just
7 of
some people are
them.
just fast readers, and
Yeah.
she's just next level with that. I don't know how she.
So did she like it?
Yeah, she liked it a lot.
Okay.
Wasn't her favorite because, and my theory is because she read it super fast.
Right. So she didn't appreciate it
One
as
of the
much.
one of the good things is you just spend time in this. It was so fun reading these books. I only started when I read the 5th book, when the 5th book came out, but it was so fun
So did you binge the
being
first
a
5
part
then?
of it. Yeah, I binged the first 5.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
It must have been
you had
torture to wait for 6 and
It
7
was
then.
torture. You had to wait.
Yeah.
Look at MuggleNet, find all theories online, figure things that were going out. That was fun. It's like being part of a show that's happening live. Like I binged Game of Thrones and I didn't love it that much. But people who watched it with the series is coming out,
Figure on-
you have
yeah,
more time to talk
suspense.
about theories.
True.
Half the characters that I saw in that show, I don't know who they are. But some people, they just know everything about that universe because they were able to sit on the thing. So
Right.
kind of what we're doing is fun. It's like a little bit slower, but I still love it.
It makes you appreciate it more and notice things more.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
You wouldn't
Agreed.
otherwise. So
Yep.
it's cool.
But we'll start our read in a few weeks.
I'm excited.
Yeah, very excited for that.
I've heard the first chapter is very good, so I can't wait for that.
The first 3 chapters are very good. So that's going to be a long podcast. So we're very excited for that.
That'll be awesome.
So much content.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you. This was so much fun.
Yeah, we'll do this again at the end, or maybe in between the next books too.
It'll be fun.
Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Until next time.
We've really peaked in life.
What's your guys' house?
Oh, Gryffindor.
Hufflepuff.
Yes. So happy we got another Hufflepuff.
I think it's you, me, and Danny, right? 3 of us.
Yeah, we're all Hufflepuffs. Yeah, outnumbering these fools. We got 2 Gryffindors and we got a lone
Fools.
lone Ravenclaw. Yeah, fools. Anybody who's not in Hufflepuff is a dang fool.